You're in the Business Insurance Zone with me, Steve Savant, national insurance columnist and financial color commentator. This week on The Biz, the Social Security series, the American retirement system, and on today's show, the rules of engagement with CPA and national financial columnist Ken Davis.
When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Well, welcome everyone to the Business Insurance Zone. I am your host, Steve Savant, and we're broadcasting live to a nationwide audience of financial advisors right here in Fountain Hills, Arizona, home of America's largest fountain. And with me today, day three, Mr. CLU, CHFC, CFP, and CPA, Ken Davis.
Hello, Stephen.
Ken, I bet you can't even recite those credentials the way I can.
I think you've gotten better at it because you do it more often.
And just a little heads up, there's a lot of credentials. Everybody pretty much knows CPA, and CFP is Certified Financial Advisor, right, or
Financial
consultant.
Planner.
And then, but what is CLU?
CLU is a chartered life underwriter.
And a CHFC
is a chartered financial consultant, and they're less known, but they're actually more prestigious. The CHFC is 10 college level courses, and 5 of which can qualify you to take the CFP exam. The other 5 are beyond what a normal CFP would do.
Well, I have to say, Ken, you're into it. Ladies and gentlemen, just a little side note I don't want to tell. Ken reads tax facts on his toilet for his recreational reading. This guy's read it back and forth. I think he's reading it in Spanish just to break up the monotony.
Now that would be fun.
All right.
That would be very interesting.
But we're talking, and what he's mined the tax facts. You've really cherry picked out of here some, and we're talking Social Security today. And I want to talk about it because I think this is a really huge issue. So today we're talking about the rules of engagement. There's some engagement rules here that we have to kind of learn and understand. In the second half, we're going to talk about to divorce or not to divorce. That's a huge issue.
Yeah. Well, basically, what we're talking about is, and we talked about regular benefits, the spousal benefit, and the survivorship benefit. What we're going to talk about today is what we call a file and suspend rule. And this was part of an act in the year 2000 that helped clean up the Social Security thing a bit. And what it allows you to do is this. It used to be that the spousal benefit, my spouse could elect to piggyback on my own benefits, take up to 50% of what I did. He or she would have to wait until the primary worker elected their benefits. Well, if he waited till full retirement age, which is 66, even though there is available an early retirement of 62, the spousal benefits would have to wait as well. So now what the file and suspend rule does, and this is the reason all this planning has evolved, is that at as early as, I'm not saying you should do this, but as early as 62, your spouse could file spousal benefits simply by the primary worker filing for benefits and immediately suspending them, saying, okay, I'm going to file for my benefit, but I'm not going to take it right now. I'm going to let mine go to full retirement age or maybe even age 70 to get much higher benefits. That frees up the spouse to file a spousal election. So, for example, let's say that in a more traditional American family, the man's a primary breadwinner. At 62, he files and suspends. The wife, she may be a worker too, and that's common, of course, today.
Does she have to be 62 though?
Yes, she has to be 62. She then could file a restricted application, restricted only to her electing the spousal benefit based on his. Under that formula, she'd get about 35% of his benefit.
Of his age 62 benefit.
Yeah, of his age 62 benefit. She would collect that. Her primary benefit continues to grow first to full retirement age, and then another 32% to age 70. So it's like this thing's cooking in the background, getting bigger and bigger for her, and she gets to draw 35%. If she waited till full retirement age for the husband, then it's at age 66, she'd get 50% spousal benefit. And then she can let her own cook. Meanwhile, the primary worker did the file and suspension. His continues to grow to full retirement age benefits, and then ultimately to age 70. When let's say they're both pretty much the same age, they hit age 70, she turns off the spousal benefit, turns on her own worker benefit, and they got all that extra money in the meantime.
Have we measured, is it better to do this tactic at age 62 rather than 66?
Well, it depends upon a couple things. How long the couple expects to live, whether they need the income or not, what the benefits look like. And so we have tools now that will do 81 different calculations.
If she's taking that benefit, could she still be working?
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay. And so,
but she may not want to.
She may not want to.
Because now we're getting in a whole penalized situation, and that's another issue. Are they working? Will it reduce her benefits? You may not want to take it. She may want to wait till full retirement age. So there's various variables, but the variables that you plug into the software and stuff will help make the calculations, will make some recommendations of the best way to go, and then a planner, an agent, a financial planner, a CPA, whoever is advising the client, in this case it would be me, would go in and say, okay, based on what you told me your goals are, this is what the software comes up with, and we're going to have to delay some of this income till later, so we're going to have to rearrange your assets in order to produce some income while we're letting this thing cook.
Well, speaking about doing the calculation, I mean, if you have a spouse, I'm married, right? So I have 9 different options I could take.
On your age.
On my age.
62, 63,
right.
64, et cetera.
I have 9 on my spouse.
Right, she has 9 ages.
Now I have 81 options here.
Combinations. 9 times 9 is 81. That's how many different combinations.
We have not included, if I'm hearing you correctly, the switching options.
Switching options of primary benefit, spousal benefit, and survivor benefit.
I mean, you need to use a calculator, and you can't just have a
and
calculator.
An advisor that can help you with this stuff.
I'm telling you, our advisor, they're watching these shows, are probably going, I have no idea what Ken and Steve have been talking about.
That's true.
Now we have calculators that do this for us, but we're going to need real help to escort us through this whole thing. Unbelievable. When we come back from the break, we'll address the use it or lose it extra benefit and the advantages, it sounds like, of divorced singles. Wow. And don't forget to enroll at IULUniversity.com for the best training, education, and sales support when it comes to life insurance for retirement income.
You're listening to the insurance industry's #1 resource for products, planning ideas, carrier information, and interviews you can use. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Welcome to the Brokers Alliance Workshop. I'm Jessica Lopez, and that's Steve Savant. What are you doing?
I'm collecting all our table shaving manuals for substandard cases for the impaired risk season.
Steve means companies who take off 3 to 4 tables using lifestyle credits.
But most companies just take a little bit off the top with a planer. But in our workshop, we cut the legs out from under the table to deliver the best offer.
If your case has been rated, we'll show you how table shaving with the right company can deliver the best offer.
Now that's a table shave. Well, welcome back to the Business Insurance Zone. I'm Steve Savant with Ken Davis. And remember, you can order today's giveaways at thebiz at brokersalliance.com. Our 1040 overlay, which is an excellent tool. Our provisional income test for Social Security to find out if your Social Security is going to get taxed. We'll talk about that Friday. And our complete, almost 50 pages on the Social Security system, and it includes Medicare and Medicaid. Those are all our show giveaways at thebiz at brokersalliance.com. But remember, before moving forward with anything that you hear on this show, always consult your tax advisor and broker-dealer compliance department.
And probably your attorney.
And your attorney. If I ever meant that caveat, I really mean it today.
Yep.
Remember, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so keep in mind that we're already setting aside substandard cases, such as breast cancer, for the impaired risk season coming up right after Halloween. I'm talking about the use it or lose it extra benefit and the advantages of divorced singles. Now, here we go again. I hope we don't fall into moral bankruptcy in this segment, but I'm just saying, let's talk about the use it or lose it rule, because that's important. I don't want to lose it.
Well, yes, we should all be looking at our Social Security starting at about 61, because 62 is our earliest retirement benefit. And if you're a survivor, if you're a widow or widower, you have to start looking at 59, because your earliest age is 60 for a survivor.
Wow.
So anyway, what we want to do, and the reason is we have options to, as I was saying in the prior segment, to file and suspend, elect a spousal benefit, let both benefits cook to age 70, or another option is both have their own primary benefit. One spouse may choose to elect their own early retirement benefit, not a spousal benefit, and the other one lets his or hers ride to age 70. That may be a better switching strategy. That's what all these calculations are about, is we don't know until we look at the variables and we run the numbers. And so if you don't elect these now and you've both turned 70, you've made your early elections. By the way, one of the big problems, if you do early election, you've locked in your primary benefit and your spousal benefit percentages, which are much lower than full retirement. If you wait till full retirement, then you can pretty much switch around between these strategies at will.
Well, I like this little kind of introduction into the spousal, because they can actually creep into this at 62 without messing it to any of those 66 or even age 70 numbers.
Right.
Okay, well, that's important to me to know, because once we do the calculations, you're going to put a side-by-side comparison. You're going to spreadsheet this on a grid, and you're going to look at saying, this is the best economic, and this is what we're going to measure, is the economic viability. What tactic, what strategy really works to deliver the most income over the life of the client?
Well, and just to make sure our viewers understand, not just the best economically, but the best economically based on some of the information we get. How long do you expect to live? What's the longevity in your family? When do you want to retire? This isn't just, this is the max, take it. They may not want to take the max. They may have other goals.
And you bring up a real
so we
important-
customize this to these people.
Well, not only does Ken customize it, and we're talking about all these calculations that are huge, but remember, we do one thing that's really important. We actually can do the mortality of the client. We can kind of give an estimation, a good guesstimation, based on their health considerations. We can either use the 2001 CSO report, or we can use the Society of Actuaries 2008 VBT tables to get a kind of an idea what we think the client's how long that longevity is going to be.
Well, we can do this, and I know this is going to sound a little self-serving because we do insurance, but the point is people don't realize when you do an application for insurance, the insurance underwriters gather all your medical information from your doctors. They do a much more complete medical exam than your doctor typically does. The panel they do is just very broad because they want to catch problems before they insure somebody. And all this is done free. You don't ultimately have to take the policy. You should, and you would want to, but ultimately you can get that. Now, these guys and gals are experts on evaluating what your life expectancy is, and based on the health rating, that gives the advisor some input as to, well, gee, we don't know exactly when they're going to pass away, but we have probabilities. This person's going to live longer or shorter. It gives us some indication of what we should be plugging into this model
and we can
to get the best.
We can do that all for you, and I think it's going to be huge, because I think that's the new frontier in planning. Mortality. You have to plan for that before you can talk about retirement programs, Social Security, any of this. Now, Ken, I have to say, only because of I'm trying to get this in our segment, the divorce issue. Now, this is where I kind of fall off the moral train here, because it sounds like it's better if you divorce right, if you have multiple partners in sequence, it sounds like you can really milk the system here.
Well,
I mean, I don't. Of course, I'm just kidding, but there's some truth to some of this.
Well, yeah. What you're talking about is that all the benefits we're talking about really are strategies for married couples. However, this also applies to divorced couples that were married at least 10 years or more. Okay, and it blew me away. You know, I've been divorced 3 years now. It blew me away that I have the option of taking spousal benefits on a woman I'm no longer married to. Because I was married for 10 years or more, okay, as early as 62, when she turned 62 and I'm 62.
I mean, she couldn't shut that down.
She can't shut it down. She didn't have to know I do it because it doesn't affect her. She gets her full benefits. I don't hurt her in the least. She wouldn't hurt me in the least. I have the right to do this
I have to
and
say,
get these benefits.
just on that basis, Ken, this episode should be huge. Call, just write me, thebiz@brokersalliance.com. If you want to say, man, I have divorce, I've been at least married 10 years previously, I want to know all the options. Ken Davis will be your CFP.
Now, understand
Wow.
that if you get married again, the option to use the ex-spouse goes away. But then if you get single, let's say you married another woman and you're with her for 10 years, and then you get divorced again, you're single. Now you have two prior spouses over 10 years. You get to pick the higher of the two, and this gets absurd.
Wow. I want to do a whole show on divorce court using prior spouses to fund my retirement plan.
No, wait at least 10 years before you get divorced for these things to
Well,
kick
you can
in.
watch this show and all our shows on the red on-demand button right on our homepage at brokersalliance.com. Well, that's the buzz on the biz for today. You've been in the zone, the business insurance zone.
The Biz is brought to you by Brokers Alliance, a national leader in insurance products, support services, and educational workshops. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, We're the news you can use.